Shadow Complex will immediately get a lot of people excited because it has a lot in common with some of the greatest games of all time, namely Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. But Chair's side-scrolling action-adventure isn't some kind of simple, nostalgic play for people who appreciate the old stuff. Shadow Complex takes these concepts and drags them into the modern era with great graphics, exciting abilities, and enough little things going for it to make you want to play through it more than once.
Where's Claire? Where is she?
As the story goes, you play as Jason. He's just a regular guy off to do some simple cave exploring with a girl he just met. But she gets captured because the cave you've decided to explore is actually a crazy underground base for some kind of huge army called the Restoration. As you creep around the base, you overhear conversations about an impending attack on San Francisco, and you find your lady friend Claire, who's been shot full of drugs that leave her temporarily paralyzed. So it's up to you to explore the base and find a way to get both of you out. Of course, there's a bit more to it than that, but the game definitely puts more of a focus on action than on story.
MP50. Nice.
The action takes place from a 2D side view perspective and is concerned with navigation. It's just like you'd expect from this style of game. At the outset, you're limited by your lack of equipment, so there are ledges that you can't reach and doors you can't open. But over time, you'll earn basic jumping abilities like wall jumps, double jumps, triple jumps. You'll also get additional weapons like grenades, a missile launcher, and a foam gun. Each of these secondary weapons can be used to open specific doors, though, of course, you can also just launch missiles at enemies if that's your thing. The foam gun is especially cool, as it can be used to incapacitate enemies or create ledges and walkways. Most of the gear in Shadow Complex is great, and much of it expands the way you play pretty well, too.
Scuba time.
Though the underground facility you're blasting your way through is large and complicated, the game can be pretty linear if you follow the bright blue line that tells you where you're going and how to get there. Of course, off that critical path is where you'll find a ton of extra items, some of which can be pretty key to your survival. You'll find armor and health upgrades that make you more resilient, keys and gold bars that let you obtain special items, and additional ammo capacity upgrades for your secondary weapons. Those health tanks are especially key on the higher difficulty settings. Shadow Complex also has an experience point system that rewards you with accuracy and other upgrades when you gain levels. You'll also get special bonus upgrades every 10 levels. The game tops out at level 50, which isn't a mark you're going to hit on your first or probably even your second time through the game. It took me around 5 hours to complete the game my first time, but I immediately dove back in to collect items that I had missed, play on harder difficulties, and attempt to improve my leaderboard position. On top of the campaign, Shadow Complex also has a set of challenge rooms that ask you to complete tricky areas with a subset of the game's equipment. You're given a score based on how well you do, and those scores are placed on an online leaderboard. The game keeps track of different campaign statistics too, and as you approach or pass your friends' positions, the game pops out a little reminder to let you know where you stand in real time. It's pretty slick. Just about everything in Shadow Complex is pretty slick, really. It's an extremely well-made game that shows that this style of exploration-based adventure game doesn't need to be filled with the nostalgic thrills of, say, the Castlevania name to work in today's market. It has a level of quality to it that makes you forget that it's a downloadable game. You should play it.
You're not stopping me.